966.
We are pleased to be speaking now with Waleed Abdel Fattah, President, Middle East, North Africa for U.S.-based project manager Hill International, a position to which he was appointed in March 2023 after 17 years with the company. Hill has been involved in projects across Saudi Arabia since the launching of KAFD in 2007 and has worked on developments like King Salman Park, Jabal Omar Park, development in Mecca, the Riyadh Metro, many others we can't possibly list right now. Waleed, welcome onto the 966. Very nice to speak with you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be with you and with your podcast.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and we really are pleased that you can join us. And we were chatting beforehand, and we learned that your purview, your responsibility was from Morocco to India. So, Waleed only has 3 minutes for us today, because he's so busy. No, really impressive. And we're excited to have you on because anyone listener to the 966 knows we're big champions of U.S. corporates. And Hill International is based in Philadelphia, has a long legacy and history in the U.S. But you are, head of MENA, and you specifically have responsibility for Saudi Arabia. And this is what we want to talk about today, as well as other things. Fascinating time. Our good friends at Knight Frank at the end of last year estimated that the value of real estate and infrastructure projects announced in Saudi Arabia since it rolled out Vision 2030 is over $1.25 trillion. It's got over $250 billion worth of projects have been commissioned so far already. So it's the place to be. So again, we're really happy that you've joined us. Before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, how you got to Hill International, and where we are now with you?
So I'm a civil engineer by education. Basically, had a lot of as a civil engineer, I've worked with companies, British companies like Langs, Scaniska. Before I joined a company called JR Nodes, which was acquired by Hill International back in 2007. So this is basically when I joined Hill International. In 2007, I joined the team based in Cairo to establish the North Africa region. And I would say very rapidly, we grew in the North Africa from Egypt to Libya to Algeria to Morocco. So I had a solid North Africa. And then this took me a while, and I think we reached a stage of around almost 1,000 people on North Africa. Early 2023, I've joined, or I've been lucky to also have the MENA and Middle East in addition to North Africa with me, which also in definition includes India. This is in a short where I am with Hill and how I joined them. That's it.
Well,
very. It's running. I just remember now 2007 and now 2024. Actually, time is running. 17 years
absolutely.
It's like yeah.
So you became president MENA in March last year. But can you give us an overview of some of Hill's major past and present projects in the region?
I'm gonna run you through. Maybe I'll take it geographically, then I'll go there. So Morocco, we have done in the Tangier, one of the major fully automated container terminal. In Algeria, we have done a mixed-use development in the Algiers capital, which include hotels and residential and shopping mall in the capital. In Libya, we have been lucky that we were bought before the 2011. We're doing the only universities around the country. And now we're doing the new ring road. We're doing refinery with them. Egypt, we had plenty. We have done recently. We're looking to open the new Grand Egyptian Museum. I think one of the iconic projects in the history of Hill. Together with the major development happening in town, the Four Seasons hotels, lots of infrastructure. We're doing the Cairo monorail as we speak. We're doing the Line 3, Phase 3, and then with the metro. So plenty there. Going back to Dubai, we have delivered the Palm Island, Sheikh Zayed Mosque, one of the legend or one of the iconic that we delivered. And currently we're working with the Zayed National Museum, working in Jubail, working in many of the mega projects in Abu Dhabi. We have done a lot of airports in particular. So we have been involved in Muscat, Salalah. We have been in in Abu Dhabi, in Doha Airport, in Bahrain, in the Cairo Airport. So lots of airport that we have done in the region as well. Coming back to homeland in Riyadh, basically, as you mentioned earlier, we have done a lot of Jabal Omar. We currently about to deliver the Riyadh Metro. We've been in KAFD. Recently, we have been awarded the land bridge, which is the railway going from Jeddah to Riyadh, and maybe gonna go further to the MAM now. We have been doing with the Riyadh event gate as well at the events district. We have been helping with the Ministry of Interior. Recently, I've won the program for the National Water Company in KSA. So we assisting also the Asir development in the south, working with NEOM in the north. So a lot of works we have in the roads and infrastructure in the MEM. So a lot of things happen. I mean, we can take the whole time. I can be listing the project, but I think I'm just trying to have the mega ones or the big ones that we are actually involved. I think we are lucky to be, as you said, in this time in KSA. It's a destination, at least now for construction, for a consultant like us. And hopefully soon it's going to be a destination when all these projects actually get into action and reality, where people are going to come and visit and it changed the KSA to a much bigger destination.
Well, yes, and thank you. That's useful background. I mean, it's an impressive list, and you're active in many countries. Let's talk about Saudi Arabia. And you were named president, last year. Presumably with a mandate. And let's talk specifically about Saudi Arabia. Can you discuss the contract you're seeing a little bit? What's it like there now? And we can go from there, because that's a very open-ended question, and there's a lot of changes going on, but would really love to get your perspective from your experience and really sort of looking at it and accessing it, how you want to build Hill International in Saudi Arabia now.
As you said, the market is in a turning point, getting so big. I think there's an opportunity for everyone, and it's a matter of how much you can take and how much you can take now. In the market, it becomes how much resources you can provide and the quality of the resources. So when I came to the Middle East, and in particular to the KSA, number one was I just done a research on the market, and I'm trying to utilize or capitalize actually on Hill history and projects that have been ongoing since 2007, which is, I think, something is very well recognized and appreciated within the Saudi contracting industry. And I think most of the major development that we are working on now, going from Boshan, going from Diriyah, going from Asir, they all talking about it's how good you can get us of resources, and we need to have the top qualified resources to come in town, and we need to have the best for delivery. I think the key factor for us now is not the new business. I think there's a lot of business around, but again, we have to watch out the quality, because this is one of the main domain now across most of the projects. And in our industry, the quality is mainly to do with how good is our staff and how can we provide Hill staff and Hill knowledge and Hill culture to be part of the success story in KSA.
That's a fascinating distinction. And is that a departure from the past? When you're saying, look, there's a lot of business, we have a lot of business to offer, but we're really looking for somebody who can come in and provide quality and has sufficient resources to complete the project on time and well. Is this a change?
I think so. I think the market have actually, over the last, I would say, 3 years or 5 years, now things is not just in talk and just on paper. I think it's moving into action. And when you move things into action on this magnitude of numbers and trillions and millions of dollars you just mentioned now, you have to be on top of it, and on top of it with a good structure to be able to control quality, time, and cost. And I think the aim of the KSA is very, very clear, very out loud. They want to be on the top of most of the dimension of anything with the industry, being hospitality, being entertainment, being infrastructure in general, including transportation. to be able to be reactive to this, they need a lot of the quality people and the quality companies to be able to deliver this and to be able to control it to reach the aim. We have been actually, I have been in person as well, and the management of Hill in meeting with the CEOs of various companies, various developers, various government agencies, and I think they all say the same thing. Everybody's saying the same thing. Just let us know who get us the best, and we need to deliver the best of this. And they all became mature enough now to understand the differentiation between if you want to go A and B and C, and everybody's looking for the A team. This is the real challenge. Hill, as part of a group, I mean, we are part of a bigger group called GISI, which is Global Infrastructure Solution, out of the US as well. The group have about 39 companies, which is give us more ability and flexibility to withdraw from both resources in terms of human resources and also financially to support our growth and continue growth in the KSA. I would say KSA is a prime market now in the region, and if not in the region, in the world now, and everybody's looking at us across the group of companies that we're working at.
Fascinating. Sort of a two-part question. One, who's driving the expectations? So you have a new framework of expectations. You just mentioned it. It seems to have changed over the last 3 years. First part of the question, if you want to address it, what's driving this? Is this a sort of a mandate from above, or is this just a pervasive system-wide, contracting, everything's different?
I think it's both. It's a mandate, and the key personnel now within the various organizations, you can call it development under the BIF or the government agencies, and I think there's a new generation coming out now who actually have been very much exposed and educated around the globe, so they really know what they want. In addition to this, there's a clear vision governing this new development happening there. So it actually is coming both ways and actually integrated together to drive into a certain way. But the only thing is everything is want to happen quickly. So you have to be careful how you drive it. When you say quickly, let's be quick, but also within the right control measures as well.
Fascinating. And the question I have, and Lucian and I talk about, there's so much going on in Saudi Arabia. There's a new project every day. I mean, there's an interesting article today about NEOM now being a destination of destinations because I think there's 10 major projects. A question I have is who oversees these? In other words, and when you engage, Waleed, when you bid on a contract, you get a contract, then you go to execute a contract, who is supervising you? And who is making sure you hit your points, at each step of the way?
Okay, from the client side, there is every organization have their own staffing and organization chart, which is actually, I'm saying, they have been mostly well selected from across the globe, and they know and they have delivered this similar project around the globe. So this is sometimes, while it sounds difficult, it also sometimes it actually is our work, because when you talk with people who understand, having the same culture, having the same goals that you want to reach at the end of the day, it makes your life sometimes easier. It's not an easy in terms of how to do it, but it's easier because we all talk the same language. We have the same approach. We have done it before, we delivered. We have seen the challenges previously. So we all trying to get from our experiences to work together. And we are lucky because we work usually in the client side. So I would say 99% of our work in the client side. So we became an extension of the client organization to deliver their targets in coordination with them. And so we actually supervise, manage contractors, other engineering consultant on the ground, other supervision consultant. So Hill became the extension of the various government agencies or development developers in various if you talk about the one in Yemen, I mean, there's an island now that's going to be delivered very soon, and we have been called among others to submit a bid for managing and maintaining this island for the coming future. The way they think about it, the way this was designed, executed is helping us in terms of when we're gonna go and try to manage it and maintain it. And when the client also have a clear, defined scope of what he expects from us, it helps us to price it, to know it, to staff it right. So I think it's a win-win situation, and the main winner of this will be the KSA government or agency or developer entity, because they're really gonna get a world-class service and maintain their assets.
Well, if this island is Sindalah, Lucia and I want to know because there's a golf course there.
Yes. Yes, we have been there. We have been. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's just yeah.
Well, take us with you next time you go. But so in this new environment, you mentioned. I'm sorry, and I didn't catch it. It was global infrastructure. What's the group?
Yes, GISI, Global Infrastructure Solution, internationally. Yeah.
So that's an example. Perhaps you came in. You have a mandate. Have you had to reposition Hill in any ways? What have you done to make Hill more competitive in this new environment? And maybe that's an example.
Yeah, I think the integration of the MENA region was helpful because it gave me more access to more resources available. So we have these resources. This is from outside. Also, with GISI, we brought some key personnel to be in town. We have made the resources available in Riyadh, sits in Riyadh, lives in Riyadh now. So everybody's helping or developing and wants to be part of KSA development. They're not coming in and out. They actually now moved to Riyadh, based in Riyadh, live there. So they are available. So our KSA team now, with all the senior personnel, now are 100% based there. And I enhance it and I try to more develop this concept. And it actually works out very well, because whenever the client wants us, he wants to meet us, is there. The guys are there with their families. They're more stable there. They know the countries. They also, every morning they wake up in Riyadh, they understand what's going on there, what's happening. So they are on top of things. And I think this would be one major shift, that we have now a much bigger team, a much more senior persons from Hill actually based and lives in Riyadh. This will be the number one. Number three would be based on this new merger happened with GISI. This have given us more ability to bid for more work, have quality resources available, and when you have the quantity and you have this magnitude, it also can help you out to be more competitive. However, having said this, everybody knows it's a heated market now, and everybody just trying to get the best resources. So it's a balance between be able to have the big number of people as well working and living in Riyadh, and how to maintain the quality and continue to attract people by when they attract the new guys, they talk to the existing guy. This has become more of making good themes and good voice about the Riyadh. Because if you bring somebody from Greece, they all talk to the Greek guys. When you bring somebody from the French, they talk to each other. So the various culture available with us now, it helped us in sustaining the existing resources, which is very key factor. Together, we'll be able to attract also more resources to come to our operation in KSA.
Yeah. So Waleed, on that, what's your Saudiization, your Nitakat percentage now? I mean, how do you stand out against competition in attracting Saudis? There was recently a new rule that 25% of engineers need to be Saudi, depending on the sector that you're in. How do you sort of stand out in that respect? And I mean, how do you hit those quotas that are needed? As you mentioned, there's a building boom in every direction. So human capital is always going to be the next kind of knock-on challenge. If you could shed any light on that, that'd be interesting.
I think this is one of the things we capitalize on, because we have been in the kingdom since 2007. So we have a lot of exposure, and we have a lot of Saudi staff that have been with us for a long time, and these guys become more attracting others as well. So this is in one dimension. The other dimension is most of the client now, when we go to them, some of their they have previous Saudi guys that we utilize, and we trying to attract some guys who actually educated within the US and UK. Not much successful there, but however, we're still trying, because I think BIF is more making much more attractive offers to pick them all before even they land back home. So But one other factor, and I think it was surprising to me, and I just have to mention to you, is the young generation. The young generation is a bit of a surprise. Was a surprise for me and others. They actually willing to work, and they want to work, and they're willing to learn. Because my philosophy is saying, if you really want to learn, things will happen. We can make it if you want to do it. I've seen a lot of the young generation, maybe they're young at least for me, but they have been a lot very enthusiastic. They are fully engaged, and even engaged beyond working hours, because they really want to go. And I think this is part of the vision driving the whole thing. And this is not just word because we are on air, but this is a fact of life, that the young generation is the big surprise, and we really looking for people not just because we want to fill Saudization numbers, but they actually bought a successful partner for us. And one of our culture historically, whenever to go to any country that we use the local or the residents of the country to be our key personnel, because eventually they actually running the business for you, maintain it, sustain it, whenever everybody comes in and out. So Saudization it's a challenge sometimes, but I think with our experience in town and in various cities across the kingdom, and together with the willing of the new generation there, I think it's not much of a challenge now. It's still a challenge, but I think it's a manageable, and we're trying to capitalize on it, on reality, and get them involved as well.
That Lucian's question is an excellent one, and it was one of three. There was an interesting article in Middle East Economic Digest recently, Mead, talking about the contracting sector, and it specifically mentioned the challenge with skilled workers, which you just addressed. Another one they mentioned is the regulatory environment, and it's evolving. But from your experience, is it more welcoming? Is it more easily navigated than it has been in the past? Is it changing for the positive?
Yeah, for sure, it's changing for the positive. It's happening. I think it's moving to the right direction. And I myself had the experience on March, and I think it was much easier than my expectation. And now, as we actually getting more people from across the globe to come to the country, things have become much easier. And there's also it helps out when they open up and ease up the visa, the residency stuff. And if you want to bring your family on board, everything is more of an e-government, and it's not everybody know that I think the Saudi government, in terms of e-government, is actually advanced, very well advanced. Not everybody knows this, but I think I've seen this when I moved there. It's extremely advanced. Everything can happen there, and life is much easier. I've got my residency and work permit in I think in a record time, and things are moving in the right direction. And I think every day I think they're trying to take one step. It will take some time to go to the maximum, but I think it's going to the right direction. Yeah.
So the other issue, thing to mention in the Mead article is access to credit. Major issue. Having a strong financial profile, which you referenced right off the bat, is really important.
Yeah, I mean, we maybe because Hill is working as a project management, we're more into consultant side, so we will not have this much exposure like contractors, for example. Right. However, having said this, most of our banks that you work with them from Europe, from the US, across the region, are already well established in KSA, and we start utilizing our credit facility across the region, and including KSA now. Actually, KSA is more taking majority of our credit facility in the region now because of the size of the project. It has not been an issue, and even we have been dealing with banks like Riyadh Bank and other, which is they have also working with our head office in the US and our offices in other places. It has not been an issue, and I think it's working like any other place in the GCC countries now. It's improving the size. The only difference is the size is getting much bigger. This is something we have to do it, and one of the things that we actually monitoring is how we're going to control and how we continue to grow and with the market. And it's just not only in our business, we use it for advanced payment guarantees, performance bonds, with some of the facility we use for the enrolling of the salaries of the payroll every month. But so far, I mean, it was not a hurdle at all to us, and we managed to go through it and successfully delivered all our financial commitment all the way through. Together with once also, I think one maybe mentioned that we have opened our regional headquarters as well, like a couple of months ago. So officially, we have a headquarter in Riyadh as well now. Regional headquarter.
Mabruk. That's a big step. It's important.
Yeah,
So let me put you on the spot here, because the e-government aspect, I think, is not very well known, and I think it's something that Saudi Arabia is proud of. They feel like they've made real progress. Let's take advantage of the fact that you do business in a number of countries, as you said, from India to Morocco. Where does Saudi rank in terms of e-government, and as compared to these other counterpart or even competing countries?
Surprisingly, yeah, I would say number one or two.
Impressive.
Surprisingly, yeah. I mean, I was amazed. I didn't know it. I didn't have the knowledge. I would say between number one and two, they playing on the first round. I mean, I don't think one or two. They're playing in between the gold and silver medal. So
this is interesting, and it's fun and a little off script here, but you've mentioned a couple surprises. One of them is the young generation of Saudis, the willingness to work, the enthusiasm for it. Just mentioned the surprise and the e-government. What other surprises that you can put your finger, that come to mind immediately?
No, I think I believe that the young generation and their willingness to work is what shocking for me. Because of the understanding of the culture. But when I went to the ground, I mean, I stayed in some of the hotels in Jeddah, and you find the young guys working there, not because they are forced to work, because they just want to work, they want to do it, they love the work. Our staff have been extremely helpful. This was something amazing for me. The other thing is, I think, so this one, e-government, when you deal with the various authorities, and in particular when they deal with the authentic of KSA, like I would say, let's go, when you go to Asir, for example, Asir, they want to do something different. They just don't want to do something repetitive. I think there's a lot of innovations going to come out that actually made the way it's melting with the culture and the nature is something very good. The way they give it the time to think it, to make it right, is something also. It's not everybody will do, but I think there's a good melting between architectural and technicality, together with the culture, with the landscape. So some of these things are really, really very well coherent and really, really sustainable. Not because they want to make it sustainable, but I think the vision is clear that it's gonna happen. And I have personally had some exposure with dealing with the guys in Asir. I have seen what's going on and some stuff in Diriyah. I have seen many videos in other locations, but I didn't go physically there. I didn't have the time yet to make it physically visit. But you can see the vision, and when you get a brief from the most of the new development companies, you can see the vision is there. And it's not just happening because it's just happening, and there's continuous improvement as you go as well. And these all are not just on paper; it's actually it's happening as well.
Fascinating, and I really feel fortunate. We feel fortunate to have your lifelong experience coming into a relatively new scene in Saudi Arabia, at least over the last 5-6 years. How do you see Saudi 5 years from now?
If we continue with this base, I think the vision is clear, and it's gonna, hopefully this is all gonna materialize. It's gonna be a destination of choice, which is this more difficult because to make it happen. I think Saudi have been a destination anyway because of the holy thing for Mecca and Medina, which is it's ongoing. But I think the other destination is gonna become real, and once it become real, it will be a destination. And also the variety of KSA from north to south, from east to west, variety in terms of nature, variety of cultures, variety. If you go to see the people in Dammam and the people in Riyadh, and you go to Jeddah, if you go to north and if you see the south again, and maybe I'm overwhelmed with the south. The south is just something amazing. It's the greenery, the mountains, and they have a very good weather almost all of the year. It's another world. So there is a lot of diversity in the country that will make it a destination based on the current development, based on the current vision, and based on the existing people there that really wanna make it happen. It will be a destination of choice.
You know, it's really interesting you mentioned that, because if you're watching Saudi Arabia, it seems like everything's coming from a fire hose because it's all so fast and so much. But you're exactly right. They haven't really even. I mean, they've just started on the south. I know they're looking at Al Asa. There's a whole number of. It's a huge country, and there's a number of different areas. They're just waiting to launch into as the new destinations. So, I mean, it'll just keep coming and coming. And one of the things we talk about on the 966 is that the 2030 date is not the terminus. It doesn't all end at 2030. That's just sort of a point on the a point on the journey. We will stop and we'll assess, but the journey continues.
Yeah, exactly. It's so obvious, and the journey is gonna hopefully continue as well. It's ongoing, it's evolving, and I think there's some also milestones have been put there, which is the Expo, the Asian game, there's the Expo. Then you're gonna have the World Cup, and I think there's so many still milestones, and I think all these events eventually is gonna introduce the kingdom to the world. And if you're taking everyone having 2-3 years difference between of them, I think people are gonna see the difference in the achievement in every milestone. So you're gonna see yourself in the Asian Games, then you're gonna see the world in Expo, then you're gonna have the World Cup as well after this one. So I think you're gonna make introduction to the whole world, because you're gonna be the spot of the globe. So I can see it. I mean, I have my hands in the middle of so many of these things because of the nature of our work, that we a bit come first before things happen and go there. But there's a lot of excitement gonna come there that's gonna change how people or how the world actually see KSA.
Yeah, there's so much momentum right now. Really just 2 short questions before we wrap this up. One of the changes has been the amount of female workers and Saudi females that are just entering the workforce in general. Has Hill been hiring more females, or are they seeking you out? It was a huge sort of opportunity when they were able to start entering the workforce. Can you tell us about that? Is that a priority for Hill?
Yeah, it's a priority for Hill in general anyway to do it. And again, one of the surprises when I said the new generation, that when I came to the kingdom, is I found a lot of females that are working with us, and a lot of them actually not just being shy away from working, some of them just trying to take some leadership. I have been interfaced with some consultants, Saudi consultant led by ladies, and very, very actually very successful, very determined, very professional on how they conduct the business. I mean, going to the normal life as well. I mean, I've seen there was one of the ladies have been opening one of this small restaurant in Riyadh, and she's running a business. She's in live there. I mean, the way it interact. Me was not having that chance to be in KSA before. The working was just coming for a visit or short ones. But when you actually spend more time and sort of live there and see the interaction and life, I think it become normal. And I don't think there's no differentiation when you have now. It's just a matter of who's qualified. If it's a he or she, it doesn't make a much difference now. And sometime when in some position in particular, they actually give us more added value. And this is part of the Hill culture anyway, that we're trying to maximize the role of the women enabling in general. And I think when this also happen more into the kingdom, will even be a more plus point for us, more an additional benefit to have them there. So they have been part of the community. And to the extent when I talked to I did not make a differentiation, because I felt it just like the whole thing is running. And this was one of the also surprises for me, because I was just away from Kingdom. If you talk to me February 23, I didn't go. I didn't see it. I wouldn't say all this. I mean, it was a 12-month journey for me, or 11 months journey for me, where I actually have seen a lot of movement to the positive side in general in all aspects.
Well, Waleed, on this show, we really don't ever like to make a comparison between Riyadh and Dubai or Saudi Arabia and the UAE. They're very different journeys on different timelines. But one thing that's interesting is that as these projects come along and get finished, the quality of life in Riyadh will start to be globally competitive. And these are the types of projects that you're working on. I guess specifically, if we could just narrow it down, because we could ask about everyone, but really curious about King Salman Park because it's massive. I know you guys did initial work on it. Can you tell us about that and how it might change life in this city?
I think, okay, having the park in the city like this it's going to change. It's huge, it's big, it's make it a good destination. And it was interesting for us to be involved in this one because it's like, this is what's not something you expect to have to see in Riyadh in the first space. But now the way it's evolving and the way we have seen it since there, it become a change of lifestyle. And as you mentioned, there's no comparison between Dubai and Riyadh in particular. But I think the way I see it, and maybe I'm listening to this, I think the competition, or I don't want to say the competition, the evolving of Riyadh together is pushing Dubai to do more, and then Riyadh do more, so this is do more. So I think it's a healthy running there, and you can see the maturity, and I think Riyadh is trying to take some of the lesson learned and just build on it, start on it. The maturity will end up by, this is the word I use when you do a destination of choice, you're going to end up by having more that you can do in the same region. And you would like to go to see more beaches, you can go and see it. If you want to go see the nature, and I think Saudi is going to make a big surprise when people start seeing the greenery that's actually existing on the south. And when Sandala opens up, I mean, it's from Neom, it's going to be another shocking news for everybody because it's really pretty. It's really well done thing. This will make you're going to end up by sitting there playing with your phone or laptop and say, okay, you're going to see these pictures. You're going to make your choice. You have seen this one. Do you want to see this one? I think you're going to do this one, and it's much easier for you to jump and see it. And then at the end of the day, how the quality is going to happen, the quality of the service, how you feel more comfortable in dealing with this one. And I think it's a challenge. It's a good thing that's happening and going. Maybe the new things you want to see is going to get you there, and you become a customer here rather than there.
Waleed Abdel Fattah, President, MENA for US-based Project Manager, Hill International. Waleed, thank you so much. This was a treat. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and it's my pleasure. And I hope I hope to see you one day in Riyadh again when I come back, and let's meet up. But thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be with you.